in the shadowed valleys of a war-torn land, where the mountains whispered secrets of ancient battles, Sergeant Alexander Kane stood at the edge of his family's modest home. The year was 2042, and the world had fractured into endless conflicts over dwindling resources. Alexander, with his piercing blue eyes and a jawline etched by years of hardship, was a man forged in fire. His wife, Elena, a graceful woman with raven hair and a smile that could melt the coldest heart, clung to him under the dim porch light. Their daughter, Sophia, just 8 years old, with curls like golden sunlight and eyes wide with innocence, tugged at his uniform. "Daddy, promise you'll come back," Sophia whispered, her small hands wrapping around his leg. Alexander knelt, his calloused fingers brushing her cheek. "I promise, my little star. I'll fight for a world where you can dream without fear." He turned to Elena, pulling her into an embrace that spoke volumes of unspoken love. "Keep the light on for me," he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. Elena nodded, tears glistening like diamonds. "You're our hero, Alex, but heroes need to survive." As dawn broke, Alexander joined his platoon. In the rugged terrain of the Ku Eastern Front, the enemy forces, a relentless tide of armored vehicles and infantry, advanced with brutal efficiency. His comrades, brothers in arms like the steadfast Marcus and the quick-witted Liam, shared stories around the campfire, masking their dread with laughter. But Alexander's mind wandered to Elena's letters, tucked safely in his vest, and Sophia's drawings of peaceful meadows. The first skirmish came swiftly. Under a hail of bullets, the platoon took cover behind crumbling stone walls and overturned vehicles. "Hold the line," Alexander barked, his rifle steady as he fired precise shots from concealment. The air thrummed with the cacophony of gunfire, explosions shaking the earth like thunder. Marcus fell beside him, a bullet piercing his shoulder. Alexander dragged him to safety, binding the wound with trembling hands. "You're not dying today, brother," he growled, his heart pounding with the raw power of survival. As night fell, the platoon regrouped in a hidden bunker. Alexander stared at the stars, whispering prayers for his family. The war was not just about territory. It was about preserving the fragile beauty of life back home. Little did he know, the heaviest fire was yet to come, testing the very core of his soul. The dawn assault was merciless. Enemy artillery rained down like apocalyptic fury, turning the landscape into a cratered hellscape. Alexander's platoon, now diminished by losses, hunkered down in a fortified trench line. The heavy fire was unrelenting. Machine guns chattered endlessly. Mortars whistled overhead, and drones buzzed like angry hornets. "Incoming!" Liam shouted, diving for cover as shrapnel tore through the air. From behind a sandbagged barricade, Alexander peered through his scope, his breaths measured and calm amidst the chaos. He squeezed the trigger, dropping an advancing soldier with a single shot. "Cover me!" he yelled to his remaining squad. Marcus, bandaged but unyielding, returned fire with grim determination. The enemy pressed on, their numbers overwhelming, forcing the platoon into a desperate defensive stance. In the midst of the barrage, Alexander's thoughts flashed to Elena. He remembered their wedding under a canopy of blooming cherry trees, her laughter echoing like music, and Sophia, her tiny voice singing lullabies he had taught her. These memories fueled him, turning fear into fierce resolve. "We hold here or we lose everything," he roared, rallying his men. A grenade exploded nearby, throwing dirt and debris over them. Liam was hit, his leg mangled. Alexander crawled through the mud under withering fire to reach him. "Stay with me, Liam," he urged, applying a tourniquet while bullets whizzed past. Liam's eyes, filled with pain and gratitude, met his. "Tell my sister I fought well," he gasped. The intensity escalated as enemy tanks rumbled forward. Alexander coordinated with Allied airstrikes via radio, his voice cutting through the din. "Target locked, bring the rain." Moments later, jets screamed overhead, bombs detonating in brilliant flashes. But the cost was high. Another comrade fell, his final words a plea for peace. As the sun climbed higher, the platoon repelled wave after wave, shooting from cover with unerring accuracy. Alexander's rifle became an extension of his will, each shot a testament to his unbreakable spirit. Yet doubt crept in. How many more could he lose? In a brief lull, he pulled out Sophia's drawing, smudged with dirt but radiant with hope. "For you," he whispered, steeling himself for the final push. The battle raged on, a symphony of destruction that etched scars on body and soul. Alexander's leadership shone like a beacon, inspiring his men to feats of heroism. But deep down, he knew the true power lay not in weapons, but in the love that drove him to endure. The climax came at dusk as the enemy launched their all-out offensive. Flames licked the horizon, and the ground trembled under the onslaught. Alexander's platoon, now a skeleton crew, fortified their position in a ruined village. From behind shattered walls and debris, they unleashed a torrent of fire. "Make every shot count," Alexander commanded, his voice a thunderclap of authority. An enemy squad breached their perimeter, closing in with bayonets fixed. Alexander charged from cover, tackling one assailant and dispatching him with a knife. Gunfire erupted around him. Marcus covered his flank but took a fatal hit. "Go on. Without me." Marcus wheezed, his eyes dimming. Alexander's heart shattered, but he pressed forward, honoring his friend's sacrifice. In the frenzy, Alexander spotted the enemy commander directing the assault from a nearby ridge. Seizing the moment, he sprinted through no man's land, dodging bullets that tore at his uniform. From a precarious ledge, he took aim and fired, a perfect shot that silenced the command. Chaos ensued among the enemy ranks, their advance faltering. Allied reinforcements arrived then, turning the tide. The heavy fire subsided, replaced by the groans of the wounded and the silence of the fallen. Alexander collapsed against a wall, bloodied but alive, his body aching from wounds he hadn't felt in the adrenaline rush. As medics tended to him, a chopper descended, evacuating the survivors. In the quiet of the flight, Alexander reflected on the power of human resilience. War had stripped away illusions, revealing the raw truth. Love was the ultimate weapon, sharper than any blade. Back home, Elena waited anxiously by the window, Sophia asleep in her arms. When the door creaked open weeks later, Alexander stood there scarred but whole. "Daddy!" Sophia cried, rushing into his embrace. Elena joined them, tears of joy streaming down her face. In the years that followed, Alexander shared his story, not of glory, but of the hearts that beat through the storm. The war ended, but its echoes lingered, a reminder that from the depths of despair, heroes rise, driven by the unbreakable bonds of family and friendship. Sophia grew up knowing her father as the man who shot from cover not just to survive, but to protect the light of tomorrow.